This is log number 41. I am recording this on the 2nd of August. It's a Friday, at the end of my work week, and ultimately, given that it's August, happy new month to anyone who is listening and it's relevant to them. So, this past week has been all about finishing the final design number 6, and then as I finish it, to look at all the other designs and see if I needed to iterate or change things, and basically make sure that everything is on the same page moving forward. And I did. It went very smoothly. I think I finished the sort of finalizing design number 6 on Monday, few hours, some shadow changes, and then I straight up went to see the other designs. Primarily, I was focusing on designs number 1, 2, and 3, given that 4, 5, and 6 were the latter of the artistic journey, and I learned a lot of lessons and I implemented them quite readily as I was going along. And truth be told, as I was exploring the first 3 designs, it was very curious and interesting for me to understand a past version of myself and what he intended through the designs, and then me going back with the mind that I have now, the mindset, the direction of the story, and going back and reiterating stuff. For example, in section number 1 of the designs, the very first design that I ever made, which was back in November 2023, I changed that design 3 times now. The second time was when I reached design number 3 and I started adding more details, obviously overhauling the textures, given that I learned how to do the textures better. And this time I overhauled again a part of the idea that I already implemented. For example, this specific statue is very unique, the most complete, I would say, in terms of form and its finish. And there was a section of it that in the second iteration, I started adding some details, a direction that I wanted this statue to have as an extra. And when I went back to it a few days ago, I understood that I wanted to add more to it, take off some of the ideas that I already implemented there and finalize them in a way that would make sense. And I did, and it was very interesting. Obviously, it was a lot easier for me to go back and do that. And I made the values and things darker, given that in the beginning I was a bit more frugal in how I would implement the light and the shadows. I would have things more sort of unrealistically lit up just to show that this is an interactable object. But as I was going along, I started to be more confident and to understand that some of them should be visible, and some of them, given that they're sort of like in the corners of the room where there is no candle lights, there is no actual light, they should be hidden, or in a fashion that requires someone to observe and really look into it to understand that underneath here or next to it, where the shadow is casting and sort of overlaps this object and really dresses it up in its shadowy grasp. This is an object that you could interact. And I wanted to really implement this doubt. Do I interact with this? Is it interactable? What is this? And having that question could be very beneficial to really have the surprise element rather than a visibly lit book on the side of the statue that should have been some shadow, given that the light direction is coming from the left. And I had to really rethink all of this, and I'm happy that I did. As I am talking right now, you're going to be seeing the measurements of design number 6. I know for many of you, they don't make sense. They're not supposed to make a lot of sense when you're not implementing them on paper. What you're witnessing basically is just like sheer of my measurements that are spanning across 3 A3 pages. Okay, sorry, pages. And basically, there are the meeting points on where the objects that I sort of placed in Photoshop are sort of meeting, so that when I design them on this new paper and this new design, new composition, I can know exactly how the scale of this figure or this wall or this statue is relatively to the other busy things that are happening around it. Primarily, the issue with just freehanding things when it comes to a very specific composition that is already premeditated and has a direction is that, let's say, in front of us we see a statue, and next to it there is this table, and on the table there is like a lamp, and there's a book, and there's a spoon, whatever, right? Now, if we were to place this in a very small paper, a very small composition, and I would freehand it, I would probably make the statue as is, and then the table a little bit bigger, and then making it a little bit bigger, I eat some size of the lamp, the candle, and basically I'm just eating away details and directions that I intended before, just because I cannot have the proper scales. So having the measurements allows me to know exactly the size of it. So for example, if on the composition it's like 1 centimeter, then the candle will become 1 centimeter. And I know where the outline of it starts. So I know where the left part of the candle that starts the outline and the right that closes is the figure, the shape, and knowing exactly those coordinates from width of the composition and its height, where the meeting point meets, that's exactly where the restrictions of the outline lays, and that's what I've been doing in all my compositions. Naturally, many artists will do it many different ways. There's no right or wrong. It's just how you work best and what you like doing. The most common being having a projector to really transcribe it onto your paper and then do it by hand and trace it. So you place the design that you already did on Photoshop, and you place it on this projector, and it sort of leads up to the designated composition that you want, and you trace the lines. There's different ways that that you can do it, but I prefer doing this in my specific way. It allows me to, as I'm creating the composition, reiterate it and change things if I want to. Knowing this basic sort of approach, knowing what I intended in the past, by doing that and having them on paper, I can move forward by changing or breaking things. One of my biggest fundamentals in art is that in order to change or create something very differently, you gotta have it in its full form in the beginning. Make it first, and then you can break it or change it or do whatever, because it allows you to really become quite confident in what you're doing. So, as I say this and I wrap up the 6 designs that I've been working on since November till now, I wanted to say that moving forward now, there is a period of a slight sidestep, metaphorically, in getting out the re-advertisement of flow. And the advertisement of flow becomes something that I need to do in order to potentially sell the remaining paintings that are there, to add some more funds in me being able to complete this comfortably. As I say this, I have, in the weeks to come, I have this family obligation that I need to do. I am going to leave my studio and go on a trip to go and help them. So for the duration of the 3rd of August till the 15th of August, 15th, yeah, I will be away from my studio. Kind of bittersweet. The sweet part is that I'm going to be engaging in a different environment, and at the same time, there's a lot of writing that I have to do for the re-advertisement of Flow. So that's really cool. I'm going to have that done. At the same time, I'm going to have the allocated break that I need from the Stonemason now that I've finished all the 6 designs, and I'm going to be in this location that the Stonemason sort of visual tower has been inspired. So I'm going to be able to revisit things, take some more pictures, so it's going to be great on that level. And when I come back, the idea is that I will be moving forward to the 3 main designs of the composition, which is impressive given that I'm slowly moving forward, and the deadline is in December, and I don't know if I can make it 100%, but I'm really aiming for that. So all my power is sort of going there, not forcefully, but in the reserve that I have, I keep moving forward with it. And by wrapping up all the 6 designs, I have updated the preliminary work roadmap that I've done last month. So I'm propping up this video so I can show you what I've changed. So if you go to my website by the time that this vlog is going to be live, which is on the 3rd of the August, you're going to be able to see what I've changed. So on the Stonemason sort of audio log section, if you scroll down, you're going to see this picture. Then there's sort of a slideshow, and as you can see, it's updated to the 1st of August. So when it came to main chapter story, I haven't done anything new, so I left it as is. But when it comes to the main chapter designs, I have sort of placed where I'm at. So I updated the status to I am currently working on all the 3 chapters. That's going to be my moving forward sort of plan. Now I've completed all the 6 additional designs of chapter 3, and at this point there is no additional designs planned for either chapter 1 or 2, and that will be subject to change as I move through the designs of them and see if it's needed. But all of them, regardless, have interactable arts. And those are in progress and will be in progress once I finish the chapter sort of main designs. So there's no completions yet, but then when I click on the next button here, we see the additional designs of chapter 3. And all of them are completed. Before, this was sort of pending, and that was what I was currently working on, and the completion is complete. And the interactable arts part, I haven't done anything new. It's just an estimate, and that's what I'm leaving that as is before moving forward. And that's basically the update that I've done on the roadmap. At the same time, I've also added a page selection in the website. The page selection helps making things much more linear and the load time of the web page to become less taxing. I've noticed that given that I have 41 logs right now, putting them in a straight big page creates for a lot of load up time. So breaking them down to every 10 logs, I have a different sort of page for them. It makes sense. So we're currently at page number 4. So you can just scroll down immediately after the roadmap and you can go to the newest page. I could even add sort of like a little sort of sign saying that this is sort of where the latest log will be. And as you click on them, it sort of tells you exactly which sort of log you're on. And that's basically an ease of life that I've done for the archiving. And yeah, that's pretty much the amount of work that I've done. For the next 2 weeks almost, I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be helping this family obligation that I have. And I'm going to be writing and working on the re-advertisement of Flow. And it's going to be sort of like a blog post, very interesting behind the scenes information on each painting. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And we'll see how the trip will treat me, and I'm going to be expressing how I feel and how I use that time to really bring it back to the Stonemason. Talk soon.